Welcome, my friends, to day 14 of my Japanese adventure, a day that will forever be known as the Meltdown. A day that quite literally almost killed me. Kind of. I'm exaggerating, but that's how these videos do. Spoiler alert, I didn't actually die. I lived. But it was going to be a tough day, and I knew I was in trouble from the very moment I stepped out of the train station in Osaka at about 8:30 a.m. The sun slapped me in the face like I insulted its mama. The air was already thick enough to chew. I checked the weather app out of curiosity. 98 degrees Fahrenheit, 80% humidity. Oh, good! I was afraid the weather wasn't going to be dangerous today. What with this being one of the days I was most looking forward to. Thank God Japan decided to be a sauna today. But I was undeterred, for I had flown across the planet for this very moment. I was going to Universal Studios Japan, a glorious playground of blockbuster movies, anime, wizards, dinosaurs, minions, and most importantly, Super Nintendo World. I would not be stopped by mere atmospheric soup. Not today. Even if the soup was dropped in my lap and currently burning me. Ow. Universal Studios Japan is no joke. It opened in 2001 and draws over 12 million visitors a year, making it one of the most visited theme parks on Earth. It's also home to attractions that don't exist anywhere else, and it makes for kind of a nerdy mecca for pop culture fanatics such as myself. As I made my way past the massive rotating globe at the entrance, a must-get selfie spot obviously, I was instantaneously greeted by hordes of other eager guests and the smell of churros, popcorn, and Japanese curry rice. The music was upbeat, the staff was all smiles, and I was sweating like a healthcare CEO in church. But there was no time for weakness. No, sir. I had a destination. After a short wait and a timed entry pass, I stepped through the giant green warp pipe into Super Nintendo World, and I instantly regressed into a 10-year-old. The music, the colors, the animated elements, I half expected a Koopa Troopa to ask for directions. There were question blocks to punch, coins to collect with my power-up band, and toads cheering from balconies. And are those Pikmin? The heck are they doing here? One of the first things that I noticed is that this land is small, but it packs a lot into its small footprint. Although there are only 2 rides here, there are seemingly endless side quests, including keeping a Goomba from attacking you to timing a shell just right to where it will hit a coin box. These are games primarily made for children, but I did play them, because I am also a children at heart. The star attraction here is Bowser's Challenge, a cutting-edge AR ride that puts you in a Mario Kart race through haunted mansions, Rainbow Road, and lava-spewing castles. You strap on a Mario visor, hop in a cart, and try to win by throwing shells and dodging thwomps. I lost horribly, but the ride isn't about winning or losing, it's about having a good time. Even if everyone else in your car obviously cheated their cheating butts off.
You know, it's a lot of fun, as long as you think of it as a dark ride and not a thrill ride. Because it's not a thrill ride, it's a dark ride with some very good special effects.
After the ride, I made my way to Canopio's Cafe, aka Toad's Cafe. The theming was delectable. Toads appeared on screens prepping food, the tables looked like mushroom caps, and the food was surprisingly fancy for a cartoon-themed eatery. I ordered the pizza bowl, and even though it was more of a soup than a pizza, and was not at all like I was expecting, it was still a delicious surprise. Even now, months back in the United States, I find myself craving that strange pizza soup that was served that day by a toadling. My mouth is watering just now thinking about it. I wanted to ride Yoshi's Adventure, but I was warned at the front of the line that I might not fit into the car. As someone who has lost about 200 pounds over the last 8 years, this was a bit of an unpleasant surprise, but I'm too polite and have too much social anxiety to argue, and I didn't want to stand in line on the off chance that maybe I wouldn't fit into the car, so I just sat on the lower level of Super Nintendo World and watched the little Yoshis go by. Longing, envious. I bet it was a stupid ride anyway. Damn it. I waited an extraordinarily long amount of time to get my picture taken with Mario and Luigi. I didn't want Toad, I didn't want Princess Peach, I wanted my boys, and I got my boys, and I was very happy with how the pictures turned out. I look lovely. And that is when things started to suddenly go downhill. At first, it was subtle. I felt a little flushed, my hands were slick with sweat, my heart was thumping louder than the soundtrack to a Mario Kart game. I figured I just needed more water. I pulled out my phone and a message from the Parks app popped up. Extreme heat warning. Stay hydrated, seek shade, take regular breaks, do not underestimate the heat. I laughed. I'm a Texas boy. Gall darn it, ain't no heat gonna hurt me. A statement that will go down in history right next to God himself couldn't sink this ship. In the most manly way possible, I downed a bottle of water and thought, okay, just one more area, I'll go to the wizarding world of Harry Potter and then bounce. That was the plan. A good plan. A simple plan. A dumb plan. Hogsmeade was as magical as ever. Snow-topped roofs, which I think is like a cruel irony given the circumstances, bubbling butterbeer carts, and the majestic silhouette of Hogwarts Castle looming overhead. Inside, the Forbidden Journey ride had me flying with Harry, facing Dementors, and getting scolded by Snape. It was incredible. I've never been a big fan of Harry Potter, and even less of a fan of J.K. Rowling. Excuse me. But I will have to admit, this ride was inventive and fun. 5 stars, would ride again. But by the time I stepped out of the castle, the sun felt like it had tripled in size. My vision was starting to blur. My head throbbed like a subwoofer with every heartbeat. I started moving slower, like someone had set the YouTube video of my life to 0.75 times speed just to check for Easter eggs in the background. Oh, hey, isn't that the Grim Reaper following Jason? That's neat! I should have gone back to the hostel then and there. I should have sat down. I should have, at the very least, poured a bucket of water over my head like it was the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. But nostalgia, as it turns out, is a powerful thing. I had one last mission. Jaws. This classic no longer exists in the United States, and I couldn't leave without seeing it one more time. The boat, the cheesy acting, the mechanical shark, it was all there, just as I remembered, only in Japanese. So, it wasn't what I remembered, like at all. But something was wrong, and I don't mean the Japanese. I couldn't concentrate. The boat rocked and my balance wavered. My mouth felt dry, my shirt was soaked, and my head buzzed like static. By the time the ride ended, I was disoriented. I stumbled off the dock and I knew I had made a mistake. The walk back to the station was, quite frankly, a blur. I remember stopping at Shake Shack to cool off and get something to drink. Incidentally, there's a Shake Shack in Japan. Who knew? I barely remember the train ride back to the hostel. When I got there, I took a freezing cold shower and collapsed onto the bed, drenched, dizzy, and nauseous. I ended up sleeping for hours. When I woke up, it was clear. I had experienced heat stroke, a real serious medical emergency. All of the signs had been there. Headache, confusion, dizziness, flushed skin, and even light hallucinations. Pretty sure I saw Toad giving me the finger from my shampoo bottle. If I were to communicate any moral with this story that I'm telling you today, it is take extreme heat seriously. I am very mighty, but even I almost fell to this silent and very dangerous ailment. Universal Studios Japan is one of the most incredible theme parks I've ever been to. The rides are top-notch, the design is spectacular, and the food exquisite. But the summer heat in Japan, it's brutal, unforgiving, and dangerously easy to underestimate, especially on a record-setting day like this one. Next time, I'm bringing a cooling towel, a portable fan, and more water than I think I'll ever need. Because no amount of Mario coins is worth a hospital visit. But hey, at least I beat Bowser, sort of. Something that I will no doubt be bragging about on day 15 of my Japanese adventure, a day of changed plans and yet inner peace. I'll see you then.